image and brand influences and get you to that concept of the immersive theatrical experience. Talk about how KISS and Roxy Music pushed you to become what Chic was.
So here it is, I'm going to try and be brief and concise. So what happened was when New York City broke, I know, it's an effort. So when New York City broke up, they came back to America. We actually broke up in England. Someone had broken into my room and stolen my money and my passport. So I couldn't come back right away. I stuck it out there, and the girl that I was palling around with was in love with this band called Roxy Music. She took me out to see Roxy Music, and they happened to be playing at a place called the Roxy Theater. So I see Roxy Music at the Roxy Theater, and I go in, and the audience is beautiful. They look like the band is beautiful. The club is called Roxy. I instantly go home and call Bernard and said, I got it. I got the idea for the band. Yo, man, you still in England? Yeah. So I get on the next plane, I come back home. I explained this whole concept of Roxy Music, how they had this ethereal music and it was beautiful and the people were beautiful and the band was beautiful. And he looked at me and says, well, never mind. But anyway, I was not beautiful, but we figured this thing out. So then we started hiring people to be in our black version of Roxy Music. So the first person we hired was Tony Thompson, our drummer. And Tony, the reason why Tony was perfect because Tony was beautiful and he had just finished playing with LaBelle, so they were all fantasy and stuff. He got it. We explained that thing to him, especially because Roxy Music was a rock band. Tony was a rock musician, so he was like, I'm down. So we got Tony. Then we hired this guy named Rob Sabino. Rob was Puerto Rican from the Bronx, but Rob was into this band that was hanging around us called KISS. And Rob said, you gotta come and see these guys, they're really fantastic. Now they didn't have a record deal, so Rob took us to the Hotel Diplomat, and we went to see KISS, and Bernard and I were like, we had never seen anything like this because I was trying to explain to Bernard, when I saw Roxy Music, I had called it something that I made up. I said it was a completely immersive artistic experience. When you went to see Roxy Music, everything looked like Roxy Music. When you went to see KISS, everything looked like KISS. The makeup, and then the one thing that we really picked up on was you didn't know what KISS looked like when they got off stage. And for years and years, I don't know if anybody's old enough to remember, but for years and years and years, no one could recognize KISS. And that was their thing. And Bernard and I, no one could recognize us, and we thought, man, let's turn that into a concept. And so we studied KISS. I mean, we went to all their shows, and we tried to figure out how do we make this faceless R&B breakdown music into this thing, and we weren't called Chic yet. We were still the Big Apple Band. We became Chic because Walter Murphy cut a record called A Fifth of Beethoven, and he called himself Walter Murphy and the Big Apple Band. And all of my friends started calling me up going, yo, made it, you made it, you made it. But I was like, no, that ain't us. So we had to change our name from the Big Apple Band to Chic. And the thing is that when we were called the Big Apple Band, so let's think about it a little bit. Big Apple was New York. We still had the sophisticated concept because New York is New York. I mean, it made sense. But Chic made more sense. And my girlfriend at that time, boy, I was moving the girlfriend. My girlfriend at that time was raised in Belgium, and she spoke French. She spoke perfect French. So she says, hey, why don't you call yourself Chic? And Bernard liked that, and Tony and I were on the floor laughing.
And you didn't like it at first?
We hated it. We're gonna call ourselves Chic. We thought it was the most ridiculous thing ever. But then after Walter Murphy came up with his record, we thought, well, Chic is as good as any other name. And then, so we had the record that we had playing at all the clubs was Everybody Dance. Finally, we worked on this recording session, and we'd do this B-side, which wound up becoming Dance, 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 but we did I Love New York, what a great vacation, I love New York, but it's some stupid thing for the New York Board of Tourism. But in those days you had to have a B-side on the record to sell it. So we took the B-side, turned it into Dance, 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 and that was the first song I ever wrote with Bernard.
The anonymity